heads. You're our guest in the front row. Now it's time to start the show. Branson Webcast Show, interviews with folks you know. Come along and join the fun. In our books, you're number one.
From the live entertainment capital of the world, you're listening to BransonWebcast.com with your hosts, Hamner and Barber.
It's not TV or radio, just one click, download the show. Grab some coffee, take your seat. We've got friends you'd like to meet. Branson Webcast Show, Hamner, Barber, here we go. Laugh along and have some fun. It's a show for everyone.
We're on the World Wide Web at BransonWebcast.com. And now, here's Jim Barber.
Well, thank you, Craig Burnett, and welcome to the webcast, everyone. I'm Jim Barber, and my special guest today is Randy Boude with Signed Entertainment right here in Branson, Missouri. And Randy, you've got kind of a different, unique company and focus. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Basically, in a nutshell, we come into companies like yours, like theaters, restaurants, hotels, and we make them deaf welcome.
Deaf welcome. Yeah.
Deaf welcome, deaf friendly. We make them, you're already ADA compliant or your doors wouldn't be open, so we're not about that. We're about making you more friendly than you were before to the deaf community, the deaf and hard of hearing.
Right.
So that they can come in and enjoy your show without calling 2 weeks ahead of time to get an appointment, or nothing special has to come out. They can just walk in like anybody else and enjoy your show.
Right, and there's a large population of deaf people in this country. Most hearing people probably don't even consider that or think about it when they're putting together a show.
They don't. 25 million is the latest estimate that we have in America. Now, 25 million, that's roughly 10% of the United States. That, and from a marketing standpoint, wow, what were we thinking?
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah, nobody and nobody has tried doing something like this before, at least on this scale. This is long overdue. Long overdue.
I used to tour colleges all over the United States doing my show, and I recall a couple times being up in Rochester, New York, performing at a college there for deaf students. And I did a show in front of about 2,000 students who couldn't hear what I was saying, and we had a signer on each side of the stage signing my act, and it was the greatest experience, but it was very unusual as a comedian because the laughs always came like a half a minute later, because they were still translating what I was saying.
And they come in different forms too.
In different forms.
Laughter.
Oh yeah, and then they would laugh at parts that I wasn't used to getting laughter and things. But it really made for a fun, interesting show, but it really opened my eyes to a whole side of the world that I really was ignorant of. I didn't really know about, and it makes a lot of sense that theaters here in Branson, which is such a big family destination, and we got millions and millions of people that come here, would try to make their theaters more available to the deaf community. And I did a little research online today before we talked, and I see that it's very common in London, in a lot of the theater productions in London and in New York and different big major cities to do things like that.
Sure. Just not in America for some reason. I'm not sure why that is, other than nobody's thought about it, and I don't know why. Renee Johnson over at the White House Theater.
Yes.
You know Renee.
Good friend,
Very nice lady. She called me one day and asked me, she said she had a problem, or she had a problem, she wanted some help figuring it out. And when we walked through the theater, she said that there were a group of deaf coming into town, and she knew that my wife had been an interpreter before and actually owned an interpreting company in Kansas City, and she asked if we could help her figure out what to do. Now, one of the major problems with a town like Branson is, first of all, they have to call 2 weeks ahead of time to get scheduled to come in because the theaters have to find interpreters. Okay? If they request one. So now the theater has 2 weeks to find an interpreter. Now, let's say the White House, you guys, Andy Williams, several of them are actually scheduled to see this deaf group. Well, now you've got to find a handful of interpreters. And believe it or not, in a 150-mile radius of this place, there are only a handful. There are about 5 level 5 interpreters in this area. Yeah. So getting a quality interpreter in your show is actually really hard. Because the level 5s, they're the ones that go to the hospitals. They're the ones that go to the courtrooms. Mm-hmm. You know, those are the ones that are taken up with the government things and the very important jobs. And they're very few and far between.
Right.
So we've come up with a way to make it where you don't need to have that interpreter there. The deaf population is the most loyal population. Once they find a place that welcomes them, that gives them that feeling of friendliness, they are the most loyal people you will ever meet in your life. You'll have to chase them out with a stick. I mean, they'll be here. Yeah. If you build it, they will come. That type of.
You know, we've had several deaf folks come to the Hamner Barber Variety Show, and it's very typical that they'll hang around after the show to let us know how much they enjoyed it, even though they might not be able to hear all the jokes, but there's so much visual part to the show that they enjoyed that, with the birds flying and the funny-looking puppet characters and all of that.
And those same ones return, don't they?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Every time they will. Yeah. They'll keep returning, but that's just the way that they are. I mean, it's a demographic that has not gotten any attention.
What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge here in Branson that you're going to have to face when you talk to these theater groups?
The biggest challenge is actually, well, there's that old adage, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Mm-hmm. That's not the case here. This seems like a simple fix, because it is a simple fix. It seems like there's a lot of people that might come here, because there are a lot of people that will come here. It's not, that's the only problem I have when talking to people, because it seems like a deal that's too good to be true. It's not. It's just a matter of nobody's done it before. Nobody's tried it. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting a lot of reaction from the deaf community. I'm getting emails. We had 6,700 hits the first night our website was open. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and it hasn't gone less since.
Give us your website so folks can take a look. www.see-entertainment.com. See-entertainment.com. You can go there, take a look, and we have our sponsors on there. And we openly list the theaters and hotels and other places that are SEE certified as deaf friendly and deaf welcome. We put them right there on the internet so everybody can see them. We are also a member of the Deaf Welcome Foundation, which is a huge national charity that does they think like we do when it comes to all this stuff. Along with them and with Affordable Branson Tickets, we are opening up Missouri's first Missouri Deaf Welcome Center right here in Branson. That's going to be opened up. I think our grand opening is planned for the 30th this month. Downtown Branson, great location, but it's something that we've never had here before and that we needed sorely. I can see Branson as a whole becoming deaf welcome. I can see this city becoming the first and only deaf welcome city in America. Wow.
I'm getting calls right now from, I've gotten calls from Las Vegas, asking if I can fly out there and help them make some of their shows deaf friendly and deaf welcome. And sure, we'll do that later. Right now, I have Branson on my mind. I've gotten calls from Australia.
Yeah.
I guess there's a little town in Australia that's much like Branson, wanting to do the same thing. And we'll do that later. Right now, we're going to work on Branson. Let's get this beautiful, wonderful town deaf friendly and deaf welcome.
That's cool. That's great. I'm really excited.
Good.
So, well, thank you, Randy, for being on the webcast. And
thank you, sir.
And we're gonna be working with you here too, at the Hamner Barber Theater.
Good man.
So we're looking forward to it. And we'll see you folks. Thanks so much for tuning in.
You've been listening to BransonWebcast.com with your hosts Dave Hamner and Jim Barber. Join us next time for more interviews, music, and fun from Branson, Missouri.
Y'all come back and hear us soon. Hope you liked our little tune. Next time on the internet, we'll have new friends you haven't met. Branson Webcast Show, spread the word to all you know. On the web and having fun, it's the show for everyone.
This is your announcer, Craig Burnett, saying thanks for joining us and come back real soon for more fun at BransonWebcast.com.